Yo, hope you guys having a good morning, evening, night, whichever one fits. Shit like that. This is Wackaflcka with a hindsight video and something I might make a series out of. Because as we all know, most late game fights are hard to reproduce. So getting a general idea of what to do in certain situations is good. So what we're going to do here is have a look at my game. And I'm purposefully choosing to do it in spectator mode because it'll allow me to go forward and backwards and also draw and make my points clearer. However, I aim to not make this too long, so let's get started, okay? We're in a slightly losing position here. However, the game's quite even, and I'm quite fed. So realistically speaking, I should be able to carry this game if I play properly. However, I did not. And as I said, it's hindsight, so we're going to look over the game again. The things I should have and could have done, right? I'm not really tryharding here, I'm just going for plays. But I'm going to show why this play was bad and what I should have done instead. Right? So they take Baron. They're pressing the lead here a bit. They have a Fed Assassin, so I want to try and avoid him, right? And now we're going to see what fight I choose to go for here. And then we're going to say why it's wrong. And of course, I'll give you guys the opportunity to try and say so yourself. Or think for yourself as this happens here. And then we'll go over it. And then I'll give the better alternative and what I should have done. Because in most cases when it comes to late game, patience is key. Okay? So let's look over that real quick again. Before we say anything to my interplay. Well, as I said, the keyword here includes being patient. Because patience, in most cases, is always going to be the key to success. There's lots of things wrong here. And lots of things I could have done better. Right? So, hindsight. First, we'll just look at this play here in general and why it's bad. Okay. What's the first mistake here? What's the first thing that is wrong based on what happened here? And what I try to correct with my flash is my angle, right? So to understand why the other play is better, it's also good to go over this here. And the first problem here is the angle, right? And why is it bad? Simply, I want to kill the Smear and the Victor. Fresh doesn't matter that much. We'll go over all the other threats as well, because Rengar's the biggest threat here. And going for this play here is just not good at all in that sense. But first off, angle. I would prefer to get this angle here, right? Which is why I end up correcting by flashing here. Second one, space. I'm in a very tight corner right now, right? I have limited amount of movement. My only options is up or down here, basically. And I want to try and go at least sideways a bit so I can adjust my angle, as I said, right? But that's not something I get to do here because of the angle that I have. I only have, as I said, up or down. Unless I flash, then I can get my vertical one. However, at the moment, I only have the up or down, yeah? So I correct it by flashing like this, which allows me to get the angle I want to a degree. Of course, I would prefer to get a better one, because as we can see now, I'm not quite damaging Victor and Samara with my ultimate pierce. As you can see, it's going here. And this is, of course, only for Twitch. But most of these things will apply for other ADCs as well. Right? Because you wouldn't want to be in that kind of angle regardless. And then I take quite a lot of damage because of where I'm placed. Right? Second problem here. They have Rengar. Yeah? And what's the problem with being so far out? Is it's Rengar. He can engage me here now. I have no vision, no wards to reveal him, meaning pink wards, right? So by going here, it's not a good play because I'm not in a good position, and I could get jumped on here at any moment by the Rengar. However, I didn't. He ended up just one-shotting our jungler, which wasn't doing too great either. 211, as we can see. But again, as I said, I could have carried this game if I played it properly. And I played it well with patience, right? And now we'll get to how or why or anything as to what I should have done here. And that is, they have Baron. What does that mean? That means that they will push. Because if they stay AFK and do nothing, they're not going to get anything. So they're not going to be able to press or get an advantage with the Baron. So, knowing they're going to push, where will they eventually be? With patience. In our base, right? So, if they open, or if we are to open here, what do I have? Right, we talk about the space. Right, I have very few obstacles. So by default here, I'll have a lot of movement in this direction. And also I'll get a lot of movement in this direction, which will allow me to get the angles I want, to get into the position that I want, right? So the key difference here is, or the key thing to take note of here is, if they have Baron, they will eventually end up at your tower, right? So you know where they're going to be. And it will be the best place to be. Because one, you have the defense of your tower. Two, you have some clear vision here. You don't rely on wards or minions or anything else. And also, you'll still get the surprise element or anything, right? And they're also going to be focused on more things here. As here, they only have me to focus, and perhaps the other players if they're there as well, right? But in general, the thing you need to do, if they're pushing you, is just wait in your base. Don't push out. Don't get caught like this. Don't try to go for this. It's bad, right? In hindsight. I mean, even then, I knew it was bad. But yeah, if they have Baron, right, as a general rule, they will end up at your base. So try and look for something there, right? Try and find a moment to collapse on there. Because as I said, you will have lots of movement to, or lots of space to move in. And also will you have some form of safety. And you also have the vision, the guaranteed vision inside your base. So just by default, all those things added up together just adds into the fact that it's just such an advantageous position for you to be in that you really shouldn't choose anything else. And ultimately, you would want every single fight to be happening in your base, right? Because you have all those extra things in your advantage as opposed to anywhere else. But of course, you'll have to push out eventually. So not every fight can be taken in your base. But one fight you can guarantee to be taken in your base is a Baron fight. Because when they're Baron, they will have the siege. Because if they do not, it's a failed Baron. They lose the advantage that they have. They need to capitalize on it, right? Their ball is in their hands to do something. So knowing that, as a general rule even, if you're behind, just stay in your base, don't leave, because all the waves will come to you eventually. For several reasons. But yeah, in hindsight, generally here, I should never have gone for this. I should have waited in base, and by default then, they will have to stack here at one point, right? Because they're taking the tower, they're pushing. So that's already an advantage for me. Second one, the space. Third one, the vision, right? There's just so many advantages stacked on top of each other. That just makes no sense to go for the play that I did here. If you are wanting to win, right? This is a nonsensical play what I did. So yeah, late game, if they're Baron, they will eventually look to go towards your base. And knowing that, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to ward anywhere. You know where they will be, so you don't need to ward. And that's all. Hope you guys understood this. If not, then leave a comment below and tell me I did a bad job here. And I'll try and show better examples as to where to be. As an example with the ultimate lineups or anything like that. But yeah, in general, Baron, wait in your base and then try and capitalize on the mistake they make. Don't try and force a play. Wait for the play and then capitalize. But yeah, take care. Have a good one. Peace.